begin our meetings with the pledge to the flag. I'll ask Commissioner Mitchell to lead, please, and then followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Well, we had a fairly full agenda today, but we had 2 cancellations. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes first.
I'll second the motion.
I know you guys have had time to read them, so. Motion been made and second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Angelina Leaner is not here, right?
Right.
Okay. That takes us to Jim Holmes. It's a little early, but if you're here, we can go ahead.
I'm good.
All right.
My name is Jim Holmes. I'm with S5 Services up in Bedford. I'd come down in January and I had made a presentation to you all. And then I know that I think you guys were looking at another company also. And then the storms hit and I think things kind of got put on the back burner, of course. Basically what we do is we do the telecommunication auditing. We look at your telecom billings. We look for errors in those and we correct those errors and recover money that your providers have been overcharging you. The errors are almost overwhelmingly in favor of them, as you may well guess. We do work on contingency. If we don't find money for the county, then there would be no charge. If we were to find money in recovery, we would ask that you split that with us 50-50. It's a very simple process. We need just a small amount of paperwork to get started. And then we do all of our work off-site. We actually order the records that we need from your providers and work with them. And then once we have findings, we present those back to you for your final approval. And if you approve them, that's good. If not, that's also okay. We would rather that you did approve them, but you know, there's instances where folks don't approve our findings, and but most of the cases they do. We have found that over 85% of businesses and government entities have these errors, and we believe with a county your size, we can find a good amount of money to put back into your budget. Do you have any questions for me?
Aren't we doing this right now? Thing is, you may be too
What's
late.
the name of that company?
Perfection.
Jim, we have a company right now called Perfection Group.
Okay,
That's going through this process right now.
sure. Okay.
But we will keep this
Yeah.
and keep you on record.
Okay. Do you mind me asking where they're out of? Are they local or?
Where's Perfection?
We've heard of a lot of other companies. I've not heard of that one.
No, and I don't have their card or anything with me.
We're out of Bedford. But yeah, just keep our information there. Maybe we'll check back with you in a few months, and if things don't work out with them, we'd be happy to come back in and
They'll be about done.
take things up, take a look at things and see where you're at.
Yeah, because I think they are getting close to being done.
Okay. Do you know?
Then we'll start anew, probably over again, so
Okay. Do you know if they've found any money for you at all, or any?
we haven't heard anything.
Haven't heard anything.
Normally, when they get the whole report done, we've done this about every other year.
Sure.
Normally, when they get the report they bring it before the commissioners and show us, what the savings were, what they
Yeah.
brought up, so
Okay.
I'm I'm taking it that's the same way your organization works.
The one difference between us and some of the other companies is a lot of the other companies are also providers. They'll do an audit, but they're also providers, so what they will, not to badmouth anyone else, but what they'll do is they'll bring a recommendation and they'll recommend their own services. We are completely independent of any providers. We don't, if we find the best deal, we try to find you the best deal we can find. If you want to switch to a different provider, we'll let you do that. If you don't want to, we'd rather you just keep who you've got, because that's easier than anything. But we are completely independent of any companies that provide services. We're just strictly auditing. So,
All right.
but with that, I'll leave it at that and maybe get back with you. When would you guess would be a good time to maybe follow up with y'all?
I would say the first of the year.
First year? Okay. That's always a good time.
Well, it's election year.
Yeah.
You may be addressing the new board.
That's always fun too.
Okay?
All right, well, I appreciate your letting me come down.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Well, I see Dave, I don't see Daniel.
Well, we might be able to handle this anyway. Tom, he was communicating with you on the proposal. Have you got a draft, or you got what we were talking about?
No, I thought he'd be bringing it to us.
Oh, okay, then we're short.
Can we go ahead then and skip you,
Sure, no problem.
and then by the time,
Well, let me,
We can discuss it, or if you want to, whatever, yeah.
but I mean, if he's expecting me to bring the document and I'm expecting him to, then maybe I need to step out and call someone and
Make sure it
that might
gets
be a
here.
good idea. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna let Rhonda go ahead with her program.
Okay.
Well, she said she needs about 15 minutes, so that'll hit it just about 9:30, that'd be about right. Rhonda, I'm gonna give you 20 minutes.
I'll take it. I'll take it. If I can get everything warmed up now,
That'll put us to 9:30, and then Daniel ought to be here, and should be.
you're fine. However you want to do it. I've given this, I can't do it and, hold on. Here we go.
Just to fill everyone in, the public in too, Rhonda will be giving us a presentation on a community calendar layout for people to, it's a communication set up through the computer system to where people will know what's going on within the county, basically, and dates and whatever, so that's the beginning of it, and that's what Rhonda will be presenting to us. Okay, Rhonda, did I do that good?
You did more than well enough there.
Thank you.
Okay, connect the community with Google Apps. Okay. Why Google Apps? What they cost and how they work? How does a regular website work? We're just going to glance over that. Reasons why we don't have a community website. How this relates to your organization or business. A possible solution using Google Apps and why I am doing this. Google Apps is free to everybody. You can go to google.com and type in Google Apps and it will give you this free application. You can sign up, you have your own account. There are a variety of levels though. They do charge every once in a while if you want something different. But there's free, there's $10 a year, there's $50 a year, and there's $120 a year. I did this presentation on my free account. Okay, and Google Applications offers more than just the calendars. We're going to focus on that. But they offer website development, they offer spreadsheets, they offer email, they offer all of these application documents, all of these applications for free. All right? And what I'm trying to do is, the whole point is to find a way to allow our community organizations and businesses to become self-sufficient and communicate with each other. This is just a picture off their page showing, the free and whatever. Now, I wanted to glance over just how a website works or a web page works. The highlighted piece of code tells the browser when you click on a page, say like, this is in the page that you click on. The highlighted piece of code tells the browser that it needs an image file, where to go get it, and how big to make it when it loads into the page. So when you pull up a page, it's not like a page is right there. What the web page does, the code does, is go out and bring everything in and present it the way it's been told to present it, or a way it assumes it needs to be presented. It goes and gets the picture that's hosted, and the image is uploaded into the browser that you're looking at. How a regular website, traditionally has been done. The website is made on the computer itself, the webmaster's computer. You have all of these files right here, okay, and they're loaded. You load them onto a server that's online that other computers can access, and the server allows people to download the files the way that it's been told that they can download it. It's just very simple, okay? Why we don't have a community website. This is our assumption, and this is me being snarky, and I apologize for it. You saw it coming anyway, so I'm just going to let you know. This is how we perceive a community website would be. You have all of these, little squares and circles. You have the churches. You have the civic organizations. You don't see what's really there, right? And the information is given to the webmaster, who is the angel, and the angel shepherds the information across the dangerous bridge and puts it on the website. Well, what actually happens is that you have actual people involved here. You get the information as a webmaster. You get it on your desk. You get it through the email. You get it in the grocery store. It's not, it's overwhelming. And you can have a webmaster that's really interesting. Okay, that doesn't want to put this church on or doesn't want to put this organization on. So you're dealing with too many human emotions to deal with that much information. This is just a thing with the park board and all that. This happens in real life. Okay, where the information is so overwhelming that we've got all these boards that don't really list their times or dates or what they're doing or anything like that. It's not that they're evil. It's just that it's so overwhelming that you can't. You have to track somebody down. You have to, there's no real good way to use the conduit, so to speak. And this is a possible solution using Google Calendar. Okay, you open up your free Google Apps account. This is your account. No one else can get into it unless you let them, just like an email account. Go to the Calendar app and create a calendar or several. There is no limit. There are several things you can do with it. You can keep it private. You can have people see it, but it just shows when you're not there. Or you can make it, totally public, where the times and dates and everything's on there. You can also embed your calendar in a web page. Okay. But the main point is that your calendar is in your account and controlled by you. That's what I want you to hold on to for a second. The communication solution. The calendars are interactive. If the other calendars are Google calendars, with permission, you can list on theirs and they can list on yours. But you have to give permission. Okay? So what I would like to see happen with this, because the county has so much information it has to take in, what I'd like to see is that set up a Google Calendar called Washington County Government. Make it not only public, but embed it in a web page and link it to your regular site, because you don't have to have it hosted on your site, or your webmaster can take care of this. He should be able to do this. Ask the variety of boards to open up their own accounts and set up their own calendars. Make sure that they set them as public. Attach these calendars to the government calendar so that when they update their calendars, the government is automatically updated. Okay? You take the webmaster out of it, or at least partially out of it, where he doesn't have that pile of stuff. And it's automatic. So, refer back to the web page and website, how they work. Okay? So it's automatic. That's how they work. The information comes in from the source and can only be changed and uploaded by the source. If there's a change in the meeting, the organization can update it from anywhere that there is a web connection, because this is a cloud application. It's not listed on, or it's not hosted on any one computer or any one individual. You use this, you log in, it's from outside. Okay? Anyone else with or without a Google Calendar can get automatic notifications of a meeting or if a meeting changes on a cell phone, email, however. So people who want to be notified will be notified and in the way that they would like to be notified. I'm going to, glance over this. The reason I'm doing this, just to take it out, I don't want to participate because it's Rhonda's project. That's not my goal here. I'm going to write about you. I'm going to find out if this actually does work. It can be a total, lack of success or whatever, but this is up to you. And I've got one more, just to give you a business use idea. Okay, say other business uses, because this is not just aimed at government. I'm going to take funerals. It's not pretty, but that's one, it brings in a lot of information here. Say the local newspaper has a website. They embed a Google Calendar through their own Google account into one of their own web pages. The funeral homes have their own Google accounts and Google Calendars. They ask permission to have their calendars automatically listed on the local deaths and funerals calendar. It can be for free or for a fee. Doesn't matter. Okay? When they list deaths and funeral information, it automatically shows up on the newspaper's calendar. The homes have hot links. They can have hot links on the listing itself. You can have maps and contact information, all the information they desire about this particular funeral, okay? Or whatever they're listing. Now here are the florists. Florists can buy advertising from the paper to put alongside of the web page. They can have hot links to their Google account website or their regular website if they already have something up, where they have contact information, pricing, pictures. They can even have a shopping cart right there with that link, where they can take money directly from, right then. I don't know how their businesses are set up or what they'll be comfortable with, but that's also a possibility. So not only do our local people have the information and resources they need for the funeral, but people coming in from out of town do also. There are maps, information, whatever you need. And with the local listing of the florist, that brings and keeps money in the community. It goes directly to the small business. Okay? The funeral home calendars don't have to be confined to one calendar. When you have your own calendar, you can have it listed anywhere you want it to be. Or have anything else listed on yours. Okay? So you can have the local newspaper, another local newspaper website, and the radio station website. Okay? The funeral home calendar, the information posted on it automatically shows up on all the linked calendars. So, this is just one way to use this function. And you don't have to use it this way specifically. What I'm trying to put forward is that this function is out there, and this is what you can do with it. This is one example. I'm sure there are other people out there who are way friskier than I am that could find ways to go ahead and make money or communicate with the public. The Delaney Park. This is what I've been trying to get them on. With the cloud application, free cloud application, they can have an account. They're using spreadsheets, am I right, to go ahead and do the cabins? Am I right? There's a spreadsheet function on the calendar or on the Google Apps. So, they can be in a restaurant, they can be someplace else. If they have a call, they can go ahead and automatically book the cabin right then. It's automatic. They don't have to have it out in the public eye. But they can. You can make a calendar for each cabin that you have. I mean, it's endless what you can do with it, if you think about it. So, in a way, this is my experiment. I have nothing in it other than it just takes up my time, and I got a screen and a projector out of it, right? This is Christmas for me, early. All right? And we're going to use this for something else too, movies for the community and stuff like that. But the thing of it is, there's the opportunity. This will give me a chance to see if this actually clicks with you as a community. Okay? And see if we can't get anyone on board. Do you have any questions?
Don't you have to have a point person to coordinate all this? That'd be the thing.
It would be up to your organization to do that. A lot of organizations have a communications chair on their board. This is what I've heard back from Chicago and Atlanta and all of that kind of stuff, okay, from Relation. And my sister-in-law said, you know, she has really a programmer from way back and all of that. She's community-oriented. And I said, well, how do you get these, you know, I know these boards come to you and ask for help. And she says, you know, some people do whine and say that's a lot of work and you have to open up the emails and stuff. And her answer was, suck it up. And, you know, I'm like, you know, if you want this, this has to be from your organization. You can have 1 or 2 people. You can have everybody in your account if you want to. It has to be from that organization and how they are willing to deal with it. Okay, so you're in your own little unit, your own little world. I found out that the artisans and farmers have their own account. And I said, Becky, I said, what you could do is, now that they've used this for a while, you know, maybe encourage them to have their own account so that they can go ahead and make their own calendar. Have your calendar and have it so that they can actually function, you know, on it like that, and not just function on your calendar, but function on other people's calendars. But that would be up to that organization. They can organize it any way that they want to. No sweat off my nose. I mean, I almost have to step back and say, you know, I'm not here to do your website. I have no interest. I don't want to have access to your account. I don't want any power over you. I just want to see if this can be done. I know that I make money online. I'm a glass person. I'm not an internet person. I'm a glass person that makes money offline. I bring money in from all over the world to my little field in Campbellsburg. I'm making money right now. I'm committing commerce right now as I'm sitting here. This is a simple, relatively easy thing to do, to go ahead and make the government truly transparent. And, you know, David Brown said to me off to the side, it's like Facebook. Yeah, it can be a lot like Facebook without the viruses and porn. You have the interlinking, you have what you want to have appear. What I'm going to do when I find the time is to go ahead and put calendars up on all my little websites. You know, as a business, you can have your own little calendar. And, you know, I don't do enough to fill up a calendar. Okay? It's going to look bad. You know, but I'll have a few sales and whatever. So what I'm going to do is ask some of my buddies that have accounts, or, you know, say, you know, have this account, why don't you list on mine too? Have your own calendars, but list on mine. So I'm basically decorating my calendar. And thus I'll have fresh input. You know, if you don't work with your website, you don't have fresh information, you don't get hits. If you don't get hits, you don't make money. Okay, so that's one way to look at it. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, within your own account, and see, you know, if you list on somebody else's calendar, if they don't like what you list, snick them off. But you aren't keeping this one person or business or organization from advertising what they have to do. This gives the power to the organization as to how they look, where they're posted, what information is posted. So this gives the power to the organization. Whereas before, you almost had to, you know, and it's not like the newspapers are evil or nasty or anything like that, but you have to ask. You know, or you have to ask whether to put stuff on mine or anything similar to that nature. If you ask up front and I'm fine with you going ahead and listing, well, you know, you don't have to ask me to list each and every individual thing. I'm fine with you being on my calendar, maybe, just depends on who you are, to list as you see fit. You know, and if I have a problem, I'll just talk to you. But that gives the power to the organization. That gives you as a government power also. okay? I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna let you be stunned and weirded out and all that kind of here for a second. And I went ahead and presented this over at the city hall, or the city council meeting last night. And I didn't have the projector or anything like that, I just printed off a bunch of papers, which I didn't have time to do this morning because I put it off. But I'm going to go ahead and organize it. What I'm going to do is after this meeting is go ahead and bop over to the Salem Mayor's office, and I'm going to see if I can't find a time for the room. I want to give me a week so I can kind of organize it and whatever. There's an internet connection there, and we're going to make a big presentation where I can have an actual link online, because that's one of the problems here. I don't have an internet connection. I can't even buy an internet connection for this place. So, but I can get on the internet over at the Salem City Mayor's office. And we will go ahead and it will show, I can show you how it works. If anyone has their cell phones that's capable of taking, I can even show you how it can be listed from your cell phone, if you have a Droid or what have you. So whenever I set that up, I mean, I want to be clear that you're more than welcome to come and ask any questions, as you can ask any questions now. But hopefully then I can go ahead and show you the capabilities of it. Do you have any questions? Yes.
Primarily, I see this as a calendar function.
Right.
And for the government, it would be listing, okay, here's when the commissioners' meetings are, here's when the council meetings are, and then the individual boards and units of government, subunits, would embed theirs in the county calendar, and it would just be a list of meetings.
Right, right.
Are you talking about, because I notice off to the left there, you've got, 5 different little private entities, but the example you used was newspapers and radio stations with respect to a funeral home. Are you talking about anything other than governmental
Yes.
calendar?
Yes, I'm doing all of that. It's a simple function. It's a simple function. If you really are for business development and business growth, this is a function, what you have are the simple steps and simple functions. As a group or organization, you make it what it is. So an actual business can actually use this calendar function to advertise.
So basically, we would, as a government, we can't, I guess we would be hosting or allowing advertisement, private advertisement, along with our announcement of meeting
No,
calendars.
you guys would have your separate account and separate calendar. You only allow on that calendar, if you want if you want this, if you want a community calendar. Yeah,
That's
you see
what
what
I
I'm
thought
saying?
my last question
Yes.
was did you, so we're limiting it to governmental.
Right.
We're not opening it up so that all these private businesses put their, because pretty soon I just see this huge monstrosity.
Yes. Yes. And that is a problem. You have to quit that. You have to decide what you want, what that calendar will be. See, and that's the other hurdle. If you aren't responsible for my calendars, I will list them wherever I want to list them. All right? This is just an example of how it can be used in the community as an economic tool, okay, by the other organizations and businesses, churches, all of that. But you have it separated out. You only have, if you go ahead with this calendar, you have, an example would be, you can actually name it, you can have several calendars. You can have the government calendar where just the meetings are held or, posted. You can actually have a community activities calendar. It doesn't matter, but, what I would really like you to focus on would be just the government calendar. But here's the side effect, is if you can do this, this is how a business can actually do this, or a church. And I said last night at the Salem thing, you can have your own calendar over here for the meetings, and then you can have your community activities. And from the community activities, you can allow you allow what you want to have shown.
Well, and that discretion is what concerns me, because then pretty soon we start getting allegations that we're partial to some private entity and not some other by allowing what we want to allow shown.
Now, the only thing I see if we decide to go with the community calendar. It would be all commissioner activities. In other words, the commissioner meetings would be posted. The council meetings will be posted because we are part of that. We go to those meetings. The Delaney Park Board meetings will be posted.
Right.
All the Fair Board meetings, the Child Protective Service, all the different
Washington
boards
County.
that's gonna fill up a calendar pretty good.
That's gonna fill up a calendar,
Yeah.
then don't have a community calendar. See, what I'm saying, okay,
I
you know,
don't see us
yeah,
even considering a community type calendar. That should be the Economic Growth Partnership or the Chamber. You know,
if
they
people,
need to build calendars like that, but I think the governmental end of it is just what I described. That's the type calendar we would need.
right,
And it's pretty well the same thing we have here,
right,
only half the time I forget to write them down.
right, and it's not visible on the net.
Right.
And the information that you need for the meetings is not posted by the actual board itself. And if the meeting changes, it doesn't change on your little piece of paper. I'm sorry if I confused the difference. You know, as a community calendar, don't take that on. You know, Max is like, I said, you know, I don't even want to do that. And he's like, well, you know, if you're going to start this, you can go ahead and have a clearinghouse. You know, go ahead and pick, if you want to have something on there, if you can go to WashingtonCountyIndiana.info and pick out a calendar that you want listed or something similar to that nature, that may be a clearinghouse for everybody. But what it does is you go ahead and have a calendar that has Washington County government on it. You can have the meetings from Salem calendar, post on it also. You know, you set the parameters and then follow them. You know, as far as like a community calendar, you don't have to have it hosted anywhere. You don't have to be in control of that. In fact, no one should be in control of that. Everyone should be in control of their own calendar. You see what I'm saying? If another calendar, if the Salem Leader wants to have funerals and deaths calendar, that's up to them. And that's up to them to go ahead and talk to the funeral homes to say, look, you know, if you have a Google account, you can list on this, and we can go ahead and set it up. That's up to them to set up their own calendar. Okay, you see what I'm saying? What I'm trying to do is to, I keep thinking of Tonka trucks, but that's Legos. I'm giving you a Lego. Where can you fit it? You know, you have these organizations that are safe in their own account. They can post instantly. You know, and and they can list on anything that the other calendars allow them to. So if you have problems with a community calendar, so to speak, don't have a community calendar, just have the government calendar. I'm going to be talking to the tourism board this afternoon. They need to go ahead and focus on that. That would be, you know, I just wanted to go ahead and put this up here to kind of give you an idea of how this would actually build business in the community, since you seem to be concerned about that. Okay, and should be.
Why do you keep saying you seem to be?
Well, because
Either are
I'm
or
taunting
not. As
you.
far as I'm concerned, I am concerned with it.
And
But
see,
you
and
made that
that's,
statement twice now. You seem to be concerned. I think we all are.
okay. So that's why I brought this forward.
I
That's why I
understand
brought this forward, okay?
that. I understand that, but I see the benefit to the commissioners as a governmental calendar.
Right,
I see that type of communication. That's the only, I think it's good that you're going to the chamber and the tourism board and all these other organizations to where public will have access to go into the calendar.
right.
And I think it'll be a good deal for us, for the public to go in and see when meetings are, what times, and all this other stuff. I
Right.
agree with that. I'm interested enough, I'll see your presentation at the city hall.
Okay, I'll go with-
but right now, you're out of time, and we've got a lawyer waiting in the wings.
and that's always
And
fun.
you know how those attorneys are.
I know,
Okay.
I'm around them quite often, more often than I should be.
Thank you, Rhonda.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Wow.
Right.
That brings us to Daniel and Dave.
Thank you, fellas. I'll bring this up, I'll let Dave basically tell you what we're asking.
think what you're asking for, if I read your emails correctly, is mostly just easements?
Right,
Uh,
there's 4 copies of that.
What Tom and Daniel worked with is a joint resolution between you and the town of Campbellsburg to work on the project I talked to you last year about, where we're doing the water infrastructure. There's 2 main roads, Forest View Road. There's an existing line on part of it. We need to take that line out and change it to a larger line. That'll extend it to South Bono Road. And we're putting in a new line on South Bono Road. It'll run from the edge of South Tillo, down to Jim Johnson's where the existing line is now. And that'll pick up a number of new users. There's 2 meters to be put in.
Bono Road goes all the way to Sugar Creek Church.
We do have a line from out to Jim Brown's, and part of the way
Tapped in from
south, we're
North
gonna
Brown.
hook in
That's
that
North
north.
Brown and Brown.
Right.
So you're connecting
We're
there?
connecting, right, that's a dead end line, and we're gonna loop that so we have water flow both ways.
And you
Jim
don't
has-
already have easements already out through there? Is that what you're saying, that you're,
On part of it we do, but on all of this, we do not. And I've already talked to most of the people about new easements.
Dave, I think what David Brown is asking is that what we're asking for, is we're gonna have an easement, explain the easement that we're requiring from the landowners, but then why we might need to actually impinge on the county's right of way as well.
There's 2, if someone refuses an easement, then I would need to use the edge of the county right of way, and also we will cross the road
don't mess up my road, dude.
There's already money in
Right now.
there's money in the project to fix the roads.
Back the same way they were.
Yeah, that's stated in the proposal there.
Okay.
I know that. Yeah, there's blacktop and stone and everything figured in that. We even discussed punching it, but that's about $15 a foot, so we'll have to see where we're at when we do that.
Okay. So
No, I
really-
realize that.
Yeah, really what you're asking is for the commissioners to grant such access to Washington County public right of way. is what
Right,
it says.
on just those designated that we have in the proposal.
And only to
Because
the
the rest-
extent we need it.
Right, and as we need it.
It's right, and that's if you need it.
Right, if we need it, because most of the people who are wanting on have already told me they will sign an easement.
Sure, I'm sure.
And, I think LaDonna's working with Tom on an update on an easement, if she hasn't talked to you yet, she will be, okay.
Gentlemen, I know the area that they're talking about and the extension of the line. And what this line does will join in with North Brown water system with Brown water system. It's a tie-in, and what they're asking is it's not gonna do any damage that I know of to the county roads or to the county property in any such manner other than they may have to cross a road or whatever, and they'll repair it according to this. I would request a motion to go ahead and approve this resolution. To do.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. We approve this joint resolution of the town of Campbellsburg and Washington County. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. I take it you're gonna want signed copies of this, aren't you?
Please. Yeah, our application's due June the 8th, so that's the reason we're trying to wrap all this up and get it together.
Okay.
You understand that
I
process.
understand that too.
Daniel, is Brown Township named after some of your,
There are a lot of them out there, and most of my relatives were from there, so I'm not a history buff, but
probably
I
so.
imagine that there's somewhere back, there's some relation. David could probably tell you more, because I think.
Get on
we're
White
probably
River
related.
Road, about every other house you can knock on would be family, so you'll be all right.
I'm Brown on both sides, actually.
Are you making old man jokes about Dave?
I get that a lot.
You just signed one,
Just
George.
the
We need
one
one,
that's on
one signed up, yeah, we'll make it for copies. Okay,
And I need a copy of,
the original sign?
yes.
Well, here,
Just sign another one, just sign
a bunch of them.
Just duplicate it that way, yeah.
Well, the town of Campbellsburg is still gonna sign it.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
that's
still
right, I'll
got
get
to
you
sign.
a copy
Yeah.
there.
But I still want a copy. It doesn't have to be signed.
They meet the first Monday of the month, so that's when we'll finalize it and fill the plans out, so, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Rob Volrath, he's not here.
He's not coming.
That's what was canceled.
Attorney Cyphers,
All right. I have the resolution amending and updating the County of Washington, State of Indiana Economic Development Income Tax Capital Improvement Plan, version 21, for the year beginning June 1st, 2012 through May 30th, 2014. That's the long title of our edit plan. This is something we update every year, and it runs from June 1st through May 31st, but it covers 2 years. But so technically, we still have yet last year's in effect for another year until updated. We update it every year, and then throughout the year, as necessary, make additional updates. I have continued with our historical practice of the last 3 years of dedicating 75% of the edit dollars that we're getting for paving projects and 25% for non-paving projects. This deserves a little explanation for what I've done this year for you guys to review. Our total edit dollars are $669,000. $667,699. 75% of that for paving is $500,774. The highway department, specifically Gerald Shanks and the 3 foremen, has put together in each district a list of roads, I believe in order of priority, which is listed and set forth on pages 3, 4, and 5 of the plan. What roads we want to pave with these edit dollars. Now, historically, we've never gotten through all the list of roads because there's more on there than what edit dollars provide for. But that does give us room if additional money comes in and kind of lets us know where we left off for updating the plan for next year. So, that said, that money is all spoken for with respect to the roads. That leaves the 25% of that larger number that I told you, $166,925. That is 25% of the $667,000 for non-paving projects. Well, I want to go through the list of things I've put in here. Number one, I note that $100,000 has been temporarily transferred pursuant to Indiana code to cover the loan payment on Bridge 113 that we got to pay back, okay? That is not an actual expenditure out of edit. That is a temporary loan that will be reimbursed once as new edit monies come in. As King Bridge monies come in, and it will be reimbursed. Economic Growth Partnership, $40,000, which is a reiteration of last year's allocation. Last year was a decrease from the previous year, from the previous 2 years, a substantial decrease. But $40,000 has been put in again for next year. The second item of expenditure is, you'll recall that the commissioners and council had agreed that we should support the airport expansion project for match dollars, the amount of $225,000 over 3 years. That's $75,000 a year, so $75,000 is automatically spoken for. That's a total of $115,000 between the growth partnership and the airport project, leaving $51,925. given the depletion of the Cume Bridge Fund, it seemed like, and a lot of the stalling of culvert and bridge replacement that comes about as a result, we created a paragraph 4 for bridge infrastructure. And it says the estimated fund balance after the above expenditures is $51,925, and it shall be dedicated to Washington County bridge infrastructure improvement projects at the sound discretion of the Washington County Highway Department. This allocation comes about for the year 2012-2013 only due to the unexpected depletion of the Cume Bridge Fund caused by maturity and required satisfaction of a temporary loan from the state in the amount of $255,000 extended to complete the long-standing Bridge 113 project. So, and then a
That's gonna
summary.
leave us with nothing though, right?
Well, yeah, every edit plan explains how you're going to spend all that
Yeah.
dollars.
I kinda think we need to at least hold back $10,000 for that.
For what?
Well, for projects that may come up in the next 12 months. I mean, it seems like we've always pulled $5,000 to $10,000 a year out of edit for certain things, haven't we?
Just in the last 3 years, since we've had the 25%, no, the answer is no. And this is the third year we've had the 25% allocation. And what's happened is because we have been unable to come up with ways to spend the 25%, there has been money unspoken for. And so like when the foundation came forward and said, hey, or the Youth First came forward and said, hey, we're gonna do this internship program, we'd like you guys to throw in $10,000 or whatever, that money was available to do that, yes, but we did not spend it, no. We've also had,
10,000 bail out the chamber that one year.
was that from Edit?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it?
Yes,
I think it was.
yes.
How long ago was that?
That was way long ago.
That was our first year's commission.
That would be at least, yeah, 2 years, at least 2 years ago,
Okay,
because,
to me, that's not way long ago. Okay.
yeah.
Because I was gonna say, we've only had this 25%, 75% breakdown for 3 years. So,
Yes, we have some carryover in
I was
there.
gonna say, we got carryover.
yeah.
I don't know how much, but I know there is some
Yeah, there's some that's never been spent.
over the past 3 years.
And that's
We should have
because
carryover every year.
we have had a hard time coming up with, okay, how are we gonna do this?
Well, the only thing I see is go ahead and dedicating $52,000 to the culverts and whatever we need. Now, we're still gonna have carryover, John. There's still money there.
From last
Prior
year.
Yeah, we need to find out just how much is there, but I'm sure there's enough there that we can,
Well, that's what I wanna make sure that we don't.
Yeah.
And this does come down to, okay, it is nice, you're right, when something like that comes up, there was a when the stimulus money came about, we were able to pull $10,000 to allocate to that.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of that was the first year, because we had no idea what to allocate it to. But we need to make a decision, is it better to have 10,000 in reserve or go ahead? Where there's is that an urgent need or not an urgent need?
Measure Up has got some money too, that stimulus money. It came into the county for small
I mean,
business.
yeah, it can be done.
Okay.
If you remember. It seemed like it was at least $15,000 or $20,000.
Michelle go back and have her chase
And I'll find out tonight
what we
if
have left.
we got any disasters or money was applied for.
Okay, but as far as the edit goes,
When we get back to after the meeting, when Sarah gets back to the office, we're gonna have Michelle track that down and see what our edit balance of the 25% is that we have on hand right now. That including the carryover, everything that we have. We'll have to help Tom, that way we'll know.
These Johns.
It'd be nice if we had $10,000.
Oh, there should be that much.
Oh, yeah.
We got more than
I will tell you now, yes.
Yeah,
Should be more than that.
I think we ought to go ahead, Tom, on that. Do you have that dedicated to the bridge and culvert, 52,000 or?
yeah, 51,925, I believe. which really is less than what they need. They've got
Is this the first year payment for the airport?
No, we
Second.
pay that.
Second.
second.
How much they need,
Ooh,
county?
of the highway department.
Yeah. You say that's less than what they need?
It's less than what they'd like to have. Well, the Cume Bridge Fund has historically carried a balance of whatever, it's been depleted, essentially. And so they'd like to see it reimbursed, and I can't remember what the total amount is, but essentially $255,000. That's the, you follow me, so I mean.
Well, we need to get this debt paid, and it'll come back up.
It will, but that never gets reimbursed, that's money lost, and keep in mind that we use that Cume Bridge Fund year in, year out, and for that purpose. So that's money that's forever lost in our bridge program, even though the balance will be brought back up by future distributions. The point is, we've lost that money, pretty much, other than what we can help them out with here. So, Gerald, do you want to comment on the need that the highway department has and how this money would be used?
We have 3 big bikes that are supposed to be replaced this year. They're old concrete bridges.
What will this 51,000 do to that?
We might get 2 of them.
So you need enough money to get a third one? So you're talking maybe, that's what the question I had. You're gonna need another $25,000 to bring us, to take care of what we need.
But
Right.
he'd thrown 90,000 out to me, and until I did the math, I didn't know what would be there. I didn't think that'd be a problem.